Okay, this is how you enter a payable for a vendor that you know is not already entered in VMS. Open VMS, go to Entry, Accounts Payable, select your property. In this case, we're going to use Roswell Point. Now, I know that Kate Cunningham is not a vendor in Roswell Point, so I can click on the vendor, click on the three dots, and this will pull up a list of every vendor listed in VMS. If you want to double check to make sure your vendor isn't already listed, you can search, and I can tell that Kate Cunningham is not a vendor. In this case, you go up to the green plus, hit the arrow down, and select Add a Vendor. Scroll over the new vendor and add the new vendor's information. Kate Cunningham, in this case, we're just going to say it's a reimbursement. Tab to enter the address. Now this is really important. This would be the point where you would add either a no 1099, only if it is a reimbursement, or you would add the tax ID number for a vendor that you know is not incorporated or will end up spending or costing over $600 for that year. So in this case, say this one's a reimbursement, so I'll say no 1099, but in the event that I would be doing work for the community that would be paid, I would enter the tax ID number and unclick 1099. Hit the paper to copy the information down to the bottom, and this will say where it's checking and all of that. So in this case, I'm just going to say no 1099 because it's a reimbursement. Hit the paper to copy that information again. Now, if you know that you're going to use this vendor in more than one of your associations, you can go through here under the linked properties and click the associations that you think you will use this vendor in as well. And then just hit the paper once it's done. Once you've entered all of that information, you can hit the X and it will already automatically pull up that vendor in accounts payable for you to continue. And once you tab over, you enter your payable any other normal way. 529, it's a reimbursement, is the memo. Tab, say it was $150. Tab again and say it was invoice number 1234. Tab again. And then if you had more than one, again, you can go down to add another invoice or go to the next vendor. Okay, this is how you enter a payable when you know that the vendor is already in VMS. Go to VMS, Entry, Accounts Payable, select your property. In this case, we're going to use Roswell Point. Now we know Sean is already a vendor, so we can pull him up. Sean Ruthven. Tab over, go down to Summary, and it will show you the address we have listed for him in VMS. And on the side, it will also show the other payments we have made to him in the year 2009, which so far is 0. Go to the second tab, which is Expense. In this case, we're just going to use 529, which is Miscellaneous Administration for Roswell Point. Just tab over a couple times and note in the memo section what the payment is for, and we'll just say annual meeting. Tab again, that will take you to the cost and just say $75. And if you tab over one more time, that will be where you can put the invoice number or the account number. In this case, we won't have one. Now, in the event that you have another invoice for the same vendor, so if I had a second invoice for Sean, I could come down under the first invoice and enter it again. So 529, and let's just say it was a miscellaneous reimbursement for something he purchased for the community for $100, and so forth and so on, just to keep going down. If you have a different vendor, just come back up to under Sean and add the second one, Access Management Group, let's say.